Hey everybody, it's Dana. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is card number 2 of my Clean and Simple holiday cards for 2016. We're going to use this beautiful card as our sample for our second card. And we're going to be using this beautiful new stamp set from FB Stamps. This is Floret Bloom. And this gorgeous stamp set is called Let It Snow. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to grab some very pretty red cardstock. And I want to go ahead and make a frame out of this. So I'm going to use a die. This is from, I believe, My Favorite Things. And it's going to leave a really nice stitched border around my panel. Now, this is the step that you don't have to do because remember, we're making clean and simple cards. We're not putting a lot of fuss into these cards, but I just wanted to add just a little bit of stitching around the outside of this panel. Again, this is the step that you do not have to do. It just kind of dresses up my card a little bit for me without having to do a lot of extra work by hand dotting lines with a white marker. So there you go, just a little bit of added detail, nothing fancy. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab out this large sentiment. I love this sentiment, you guys. This is like absolutely one of my favorite Christmas sentiments out of all of the stamp sets I purchased this year. So I'm going to grab my Misty because you guys know I like this tool. I'll be doing a review though on some other new stamping tools that have come out on the market. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a comparison between some of the stamping tools that are going to help you in 2017 to get your stamping on par. So I'm just going to use my EK Success tool, my powder tool. But look, you can also use, if you have pan pastels, you can use the colorless blender as well. Tony from Kate's Crafty Closet and I were talking about this. We were like, hey, I wonder if that will work as well. So I had the colorless blender, and if you have this and you don't have the EK Success powder tool, this works just as fine. And I didn't have to use a lot of the colorless blender, but if you have that in your repertoire at home, go ahead and pull that out. Using this just helps to keep the your residue from your embossing powder from sticking everywhere on your card panel, just in case you didn't know that. So I'm going to go ahead and press down my sentiment onto my Misty lid. And when you guys see this sentiment up close as it stamps, you guys are going to fall in love with it just as much as I have. It's a very pretty, bold sentiment, and you can stop right with the sentiment, and this can just be the showstopper on your card. But I'm going to add a couple snowflakes to it just to make my card pop. All right, so I'm going to press down very firmly. It's being stamped in Versamark, which is just a clear ink. I'm going to press down very well. And you can already see that right in the background of all that pan pastel, that colorless pan pastel. All right, so I'm going to grab in my little tub of white embossing powder. I really need to get a bigger tub, you guys. I promise. Once this holiday card making series is over, but I really need to invest in a bigger tub. All right, so I'm just going to flick off some of that extra embossing powder, but you can see how beautiful this sentiment is, you guys. Oh, it just screams Christmas. I absolutely love it. Look how gorgeous. Gorgeous. You can just stop right there. Right there. You don't have to go any further. Just stamp the sentiment and boom, you're done. You're done. All right, so since I have it there, I'm going to go ahead and get my heat gun. I like to have my heat gun really, really hot so I'm not bowing my paper too much. And I also like to start some of the heat towards the back of the card that actually gets the embossing powder to start melting before I actually bring it to the front of the card. And the magic, of course, is when you start seeing your embossing powder melt. As you guys know, I can watch this all day long. It's just magical. Look how gorgeous that is. Oh, my word. Floret, you have totally outdone yourself, sweetheart. Totally outdone yourself with this Christmas sentiment and this Let It Snow stamp set. Look how gorgeous. Ah, beautiful. Now, with this embossing tool and the colorless pan pastel, you can just wipe it all back off. I'm going to make sure that my sentiment is dried because I've had a tendency to go ahead and try to wipe that stuff off. and my embossing powder was still hot, and I've totally smeared the sentiment. So I don't want to do that. Just want to make sure that I get that off. And now if some is left over, it's okay. It's just going to kind of give it a chalk background. If you're going bananas over that, don't worry about it. Grab yourself just a very damp baby wipe or a little bit of a towel and just lightly wipe across your paper, and that residue will go bye-bye. All right, so I've just grabbed one of the little snowflakes out of the stamp set, and I'm going to randomly start stamping out some snowflakes. Now, when I say randomly, you'll see at the end of the video that my first card that I made had just a few snowflakes. This one, I want to add more. Totally up to you how many snowflakes you had. I want this card to look like a blizzard came and landed on my card. So I'm going to go very, very random with how many of the snowflakes I put on my card. Again, totally up to you how many snowflakes you want. If you don't want any snowflakes, if you want 1 snowflake or 50 snowflakes. This time I went a little bit heavy-handed because I wanted to kind of look like it might have been pattern paper. So I'm just going to see if I need to add any more snowflakes. I kind of have to like look back, see if I need anything, kind of just stop before I start adding anything more. So I'm going to grab back in that white embossing powder. And this white embossing powder, I don't know if I said it earlier, is Wow Opaque White, Bright White. It's just super fine. It is one of my favorite bright white embossing powders. I seem to buy this the most. It only comes in like little jars, so when I buy it, I usually buy 3 to 4 jars at a time. I know it. They said they sell it in the bigger jars, but to me, the bigger jars, the granules are a little bit thicker. So I just go ahead and buy the little ones and then pour them all into this container. I think I might need to add one more snowflake. Let me see. I have a feeling that if I put it down, I'm going to regret it. So, I don't know. I think I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it. Because I have a feeling I'm going to put it down and then I'm going to be mad that I did it. So I'm going to go ahead and heat up that heat gun again. I'm going to slide everything out the way. I'm going to heat up that heat gun. Make sure it's really nice and hot before I bring it to my paper. And then again, I like to start from the back and then bring it on around to the front. So how easy, you guys, is it to make Christmas cards? Now, like I said, don't go bananas over making cards. And let me tell you something. If you can't get a lot of cards made this year, again, don't go crazy. Pick up the phone and call somebody. Tell them that you love them. Tell them Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year's, Happy Kwanzaa. Whatever you need to do, just show them that you love them. All right, there is the card. How gorgeous is that? Ha! You know I'm not done though, right? You know I need to add me a little bit of shimmer. Because, you know, I'm a shimmer girl. My stuff got to sparkle. So I'm going to shake that up just a little bit. You guys know me. I got to have a little bit of sparkle in my life. So I'm going to grab my box. And I'm going to spray some of this shimmer mist on here. So you guys see a pattern going here. Because the first card had the glitter background. This has to have some shimmer. Come on, you guys work with me. You know how I am, right? I'm very impatient as well, so I'm going to grab my heat gun and I'm going to go ahead and dry back that shimmer. Now you can let this air dry, especially if you're doing multiple ones. Go ahead and set it aside and let it air dry. Again, for video's sake, I'm going to go ahead and dry it with my heat gun. And this as well is going to help me dry back my card to get some of the buckle out of it. How gorgeous. Can you see that beautiful shimmer? Oh, just fantastic. All right. Now let's go ahead and put the card together. I'm going to use some foam because I want to make sure I have a little bit of dimension as well as having my panel be flat or even, I should say, on my card base. If I were to use the foam tape, I would have to use a lot of foam tape to get an even panel or even amount of cushion on the back of that card panel. So we're going to eliminate all of that nonsense and we're just going to use some fun foam. All right, now I'm just going to add a little bit more adhesive onto the back of this fun foam. And then we're going to go ahead and pop this baby onto a card base. You guys know me. the majority of the time I'm making cards is going to be a white card base. I do that for several reasons. One, it's cheaper than having colored cardstock for your card base. And number two, it's very, very simple for me or the recipient to write a message on the inside. All right, we are done. Look at that. Card number 2. Easy peasy. Alrighty. I love how this card came out. Love it, love it, love it. All right. Blizzard card, non-blizzard card. Card number 2, done. I will see you back here for card number 3. Take care. Bye-bye.